Skipper, I mean, you accomplished a lot in your career, had a lot of experience. What is the sort of doing a course at such a prestigious school business, and I'm sure you've got post-career ambitions in mind. What does it do, and what are your sort of ideas that it's given you? Because you're reaching that point as well.
I think for some of the senior players, I think we can be saying the same thing. It's a privilege to be part of this group, especially this year towards the end of our careers. And I think personally for me, because it's different for each and every one. I think for me it has unlocked a lot of things in my mind, And for me, having such programs and initiative, something that we wish we could have had it while we were youngsters, and the youngsters that we have in this group, the privilege to have this initiative at that age.
I was at the SuperSport Awards last year. You won an award, I think Defender of the Year. Then you said it's not a good season if you haven't had a concussion. You haven't had one yet this season. How's it been going for you? Because a lot of it was spent on the sidelines injured.
The season isn't finished, so they might be, But obviously for me, it's an injury that I had, when we played with somebody from Azures. Then I twisted my ankle, and I think I missed part of December games because I got injured on the 3rd, and then they said that I need to take 5 weeks. So for me, it was mainly, at the time, we had a lot of back-to-back games, so there's quite a few games that I've missed, and I'm happy to be back and doing what I love.
Cool. Skipper, you were once a spring chicken yourself at IX days, and now as you're winding down your career, you're playing with a lot of young players at SuperSport United. What do you make of that talent? Have you seen such quality? I know your team with Thulani and them was quite special, but what do you make of the current crop at SuperSport?
You obviously have there were older players that were before us, and their own generation, and I think between the 89s and 90s, they're privileged to have experienced all the senior players as we came before they retired. And now we're seeing how many youngsters they've been introduced in all the teams, and for us, they keep us young in the team. And I think the coach also, he's managing all the players, the youngsters, the number of youngsters that we have. As we had another player against Richards Bay that he made his debut. I think he's 17 lucky. The coach always depending on us, because with the connection between the coach and the players to make sure that they stay humble. We don't praise them a lot. I always tell Chandra that you need to be humble. There's a lot of things that are still going to come. When we play Richards Bay, they made a bet with the coach. If he stays on the ice pad for 5 minutes and score the goal, then he will give him a 1,000, and he did. and now he's being called up in this training camp for under 20. And that's when I told him that that's where it starts. He still needs to stay humble all the time.
Let's keep up, maybe just as a follow-up. I think, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, part of the reason why you guys have had so much inconsistency, it can be pointed out to the level of lack of experience in this team with so many kids coming from time to time. How frustrating is this thing that you can't have consistency because at the same time you have to play these young kids?
No, for sure. The coach always talks about it all the time, having to promote, because probably it's one of his mandate to promote as many youngsters as we had. Besides my injury, we also had quite a few off form at the back, and having to travel when we play CAF also. So I think that level of inconsistency was there at all times, and the coach obviously was kind of putting a pressure on me that we need that stability, we need that experience at the back. I think Okon is one of the defenders in the team that have played quite a few games, and you can get experience when you experience something. So the more he plays, the better for him.
I'm really interested to ask if this has been asked in the last year and a half. I've been stuck in the office, maybe. But you went to Pirates, and you just never seemed to settle like the player that was before. There were patches, and it just didn't work out. Went back to SuperSport. First season, I just looked it up, 24 games. definitely back to the old Tyson. And this season, bit of injuries, but still back. Just what was it? It was very strange. Where you just didn't settle at Pirates. It was almost a bit of a nightmare period, and then going back to SuperSport, was it? And obviously reuniting with Gavin was, I'm sure, part of it. And just what was the transition?
I'm happy now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I fell in love with the game when I joined SuperSport. Yeah.
So why weren't you happy at Pirates?
Because I've fallen out of love with the game.
And the reason?
I wasn't playing. I last played my, I think it was during COVID against Chiefs. Yeah. Then I went through a patch, and the results were not coming for the team. And then, then I fell in love with the game.
The spotlight, there was a lot of spotlight on your errors. I mean, was that all playing on your head as well when you were, because you're obviously in the spotlight?
Not really, because I'm not one to be too much on social media, and I knew before I went to Pirates what was going to happen.
I'd spoken to someone close to you, and at the time, sorry Tyson, I just never got the opportunity to ask you. Apparently, there was a more lucrative offer from Sundowns at the time when you joined Pirates, which was financially much better than Pirates. I want to ask you, looking at it in retrospect, would you still say you made the right decision?
Yes, I did, and that offer was in Pirates was much better.
Oh, Pirates, okay, okay.
And we've heard Coach Kevin of late advocating for you to return to Bafana. What will be your reaction to that?
I think I've made it clear that it's always an honor to represent your country, and I also made it clear during the SuperSport Awards that I haven't retired from the national team, so I'm still available.
Tyson, I think Coach is very negative in the media. Like it doesn't beat around the bush. He's always complaining. But I don't think that is a conducive environment for any team. So is he completely different with you guys, like when he's talking to you at training? But I can't see how any team could get results with that amount of negativity.
Yo, he's very different. He's our friend. He's our friend. Kev is our friend, man. Even the youngsters, that's why they're able to work for him.
So it's a way of protecting you guys, maybe.
Got to ask, 2019 was a bit of a turning point for Bafana. A bit. It was a difficult campaign. You squeezed through that group stage. And like the 16th place team. But then beat Egypt, got to the quarters, lost narrowly against Nigeria. It was actually the best away result, I think, in about 20 years. I know there was an all team, so there wasn't much continuity, but it did lay the platform, I think, confidence-wise a bit for this Bafana. But it must have been great as a former Bafana captain to see them go there. Not just get through the group stage, but the way they did, the football they were playing, and the fight. I mean, the fight is made. It must be good.
Yeah, for sure, I am proud of our country. I'm proud of the team all the way. You know, and for me, I think this is what we do also with the current team. Because when you look at all the players that have played in this AFCON now, it's players that would be introduced to Bafana Bafana now when we were in Europe, and we knew, because when we didn't qualify when we played against Libya, Sudan, sorry, we knew that AFCON, I think it was the previous AFCON, we knew that, you know what, looking at our age, because Coach Nteki used to say, yes, we've been with Bafana Bafana for 7, 6, 8 years, you know, but what have we won? You know, because the only thing that we can point out is us being knocked out at 2019 and AFCON, and that was a record that was sitting, and now the group now have already broken it, and they've won all the way. So I'm really proud of what the guys have done so far.
Skip, I don't know, maybe just the last one. Ime has been in the media quite a lot, you know, obviously as a, you know, just moving into adulthood now, but playing so many games alongside you, still that Nigeria, Bafana thing hanging. Have you had any chats with him? Are you trying to lure him on our side so that we don't lose him?
Yeah, for sure. I've already told him that he needs to stay in South Africa. You know, it's difficult for him to crack in the Nigerian team because he needs to play in Europe actually to cracking in that Nigerian team, and we need him in the team. You know, when you look at our centre backs, Mvala with the injuries, Grant, Sianda. I don't know. I read a little bit about Ngezana, the documents. I don't know what's happening. So, and his father, I think it's the father from Nigeria, and the mother is from here, and he may grow up here, you know, studied here, because I remember Kevin saying, no, I just took him from Randburg football team. You know, so Ime has been South African, he also speaks Afrikaans, so I told him that, you know, Ime, you're South African. Because every time whenever there's AFCON, he will be, I would say to him, we rappel, because when Nigeria is playing, it's with Nigeria. When South Africa is playing, when we play together, him and Iga, we had a lot of fights in the team, but jokingly, you know, but I told him that no, you're South African and we need you. The team needs you. But otherwise, I'm not going to help you with everything, because there's a few things that needs to be polished. But like I said, that the more he plays, the more experience he will get, and he will do it.
Maybe lastly, how you're closely with him, but I mean, you have played with a lot of defenders and stuff. You've seen the defenders that came before you, that you watched. Your assessment of him, how good is this kid?
I don't know if it has something to do with him being young, but he's quick. Ime is quick, and Ime is strong. And obviously, there was a little bit of maybe a year or two in terms of development, you know, when it comes to aerial balls, which is now I've gotten slower, but better in the air, so we're complementing one another.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, keeper.